It's Dramatic Listening, the podcast where you learn English by listening to radio plays. I'm your host and teacher, Wendy Lambert.
And welcome back to Dramatic Listening. This is episode 94, and it's the 6th episode of Ticket to Tangier, a Harry Lime radio play. And I'm calling this one, Two's Company, Three's a Crowd. Sometimes you like to hang out with a group of friends, and you can have a lot of fun together. But there are times when you want to be intimate with someone. You are good company for each other. There are things you want to talk about that you don't want to share with everyone. And this is especially true if it's your boyfriend or your girlfriend. Sometimes you just want it to be the two of you. If another friend invites himself or herself along on your date, you might feel frustrated at losing the opportunity to get close to one another. Well, in that kind of situation, you might say, two's company, three's a crowd. As usual, this story is serialized on Dramatic Listening, so altogether there will be 7 episodes making up the whole story. This story started with episode 89, so if you haven't listened to that one yet, you really should go back and listen to it first. Dramatic listening is edutainment. Now that's a combination of education and entertainment. It's all part of helping you keep up your momentum in your English studies. By making learning fun and giving you something entertaining to listen to, I hope to keep you interested and motivated. The podcast is now one part of my larger ESL site called English Momentum. I hope you drop by EnglishMomentum.com to check out the site, but also to get the free PDF that comes with each episode of this podcast. Just register and log in. Registration is free. As a logged-in member, you can download the free PDF. In it, you'll find the vocabulary and the transcript for the podcast episode to help you learn the words and read along. There's a new PDF with each episode, so I really encourage you to head on over to EnglishMomentum.com and become a member today. As I said, today we're listening to part 6 of Ticket to Tangier, an old-time radio play from The Lives of Harry Lime that was first aired in 1951. You'll remember from our last episode that Harry finds out why Patsy brought him to Tangier. She had been married to a criminal. Her husband had just started getting involved in drug trafficking when she killed him. She was left with the heroin. She knows it's valuable and doesn't want to turn it into the police, but has no idea how to sell it without getting caught. So she shows it to Harry Lime. It's all rolled up in a small carpet, and the pressure's on him to sell it for her. In today's episode, Harry and Patsy have company, an unexpected visitor, and that's why I've called it Two's Company, Three's a Crowd. He says he's an associate of her late husband. In other words, he's a gangster who had some business dealings with her husband. He knows about the heroin, and he's come to collect it. We'll listen to Act 2, Scene 4 shortly, but first we have 15 key words to learn. And remember, these words are all posted on Quizlet, so if you're a Chinese speaker, You could learn these words with English, Chinese, flashcards, and games at www.englishmomentum.com/Quizlet. And now for the key words. I'll be giving you the word, the meaning, and a model sentence for each one. Our first word is suspect. Suspect is a verb, and it means to believe somebody did something illegal, but not have enough evidence yet to prove it. In Chinese, 嫌疑 or 怀疑. I suspect the son because he had the strongest motive. He needed money and couldn't wait for his inheritance. Suspect. Word number 2, alibi. An alibi is a noun. It's a story of one's whereabouts at the time a crime was committed. So the police might ask you where you were between this hour and that hour. When a crime had been committed, they're asking you for your alibi. In Chinese, 不在场证明. It couldn't be him. He has an alibi, and it checks out. Alibi. Word number 3, blackmail. Blackmail. This is a verb, and it can also be a noun. But here it's a verb, and it means to threaten to reveal someone's secret if they don't give you something, usually money, but something that you want. In Chinese, 勒索 or 敲诈 or 要挟. Instead of going to the police, the eyewitness blackmailed the hit-and-run driver for years. Blackmail. Word number 4, efficient. This is an adjective, and it means that you're able to get the desired results without wasting time, money, materials, or energy. Efficient. 高效 or 效能 in Chinese. The factory saved money by installing more efficient light bulbs. Efficient. Word number 5, marksman. A marksman is a noun. It's a person with a good aim. They're able to shoot and hit their target. They're skilled at shooting a gun. They could also be called a sharpshooter. 神枪手 in Chinese. During target practice, the marksman had hit the bullseye every time. Marksman. Word number 6, banal. Banal is an adjective, and it means boring, ordinary, not interesting. So in Chinese, 无聊的 or 沉浮 or 老套. His speech was so banal, I almost fell asleep. Banal. Word number 7, associate. This is a noun, and it means a person you work with or spend time with. 同伙 or 同事 in Chinese. Associate. On the weekend, Sam likes to play golf with his business associates. Associate. Word number 8, widow. A widow is a noun. It's a person, a woman whose husband has died. 遗孀 or 寡妇 in Chinese. The widow now runs her husband's business. Widow. Word number 9, penal colony. This is a noun phrase, and it means a labor camp, a place where you have prisoners and you make them work. Lao Dong Ying or Lao Gai Ying. His punishment was 10 years of hard labor in a penal colony. Penal colony. Word number 10, doctor's degree. A doctor's degree is a noun phrase, and that's the same as saying a PhD, a doctor of philosophy. 博士学位 or 哲学博士学位. That professor has a doctor's degree in engineering. He's not a medical doctor. Doctor's degree. Word number 11, memory. Memory is a noun, and it is the power to remember what has been learned. 记性 in Chinese. When it comes to movie trivia, I have a very poor memory. Memory. Word number 12, collector. A collector is a noun. Again, it's a person who gets things from many sources and brings them together. 收藏家 in Chinese. The stamp collector was in the market for a rare stamp. Collector. Word number 13, extract. If you extract something, this is a verb, you remove it by pulling it out. 抽出 or 拔出 in Chinese. The dentist extracted the tooth that was causing me so much pain. Extract. Word number 14, revolver. This is a noun, and it is a small gun with a container for bullets that turns after the gun is fired so that the next bullet is ready to be fired. So this container for the bullets turns, it revolves. So this kind of gun is called a revolver. 左轮手枪 in Chinese. When going after an armed criminal, Sherlock Holmes would remind Watson to bring his revolver. Revolver. And finally, word number 15, boast. This is a verb, and it means to brag, to talk about something you've done with too much pride. Quite often, the claim is exaggerated when someone is boasting. 夸口 or 吹牛 in Chinese. When he gets back from his hunting trip, I'm sure he'll boast about how good a marksman he is. Boast. Well, that's it for our key words. Let's listen now to Ticket to Tangier, Act 2, Scene 4. This part of the play is about 2 minutes long.
How do you know it's so valuable?
He told me. I've been keeping it here in the house for months now. This airline job I have is perfect for smuggling the stuff, but I don't know who to take it to. I don't know what towns pay the best price. I don't know the names of the agents. Rico kept me away from that kind of thing. All I can remember was hearing him talk about you. You've got to help me, Harry.
What about the police?
They don't know it's here. I don't think they even know about the house. At least there isn't anything against him in Tangier.
I heard about you, Boat. You killed him, didn't you? How do the cops feel about that?
They don't suspect me. There's no reason why they should. I had a good alibi. I wasn't even in town.
Just tell me how you did that sometime.
So you can blackmail me? No, thanks, Harry. Let's keep our relationship on a nice, clean... business level.
Now, that's the way I like to hear you talk.
Who are you?
We'll talk about that later, Madame Magetti. Now, I think it would be easier all round if you and Mr. Lime put your hands in the air. Not too high. Just shoulder level, Right. This is a very efficient gun I'm holding. And I'm a good marksman.
How did you get in?
I hate to tell you, Madame Magetti, the explanation is so banal. Through the door. You left it open. Now then, where's the heroin?
Just a minute.
Yes, Mr. Lime?
You seem to know my name, monsieur, but I'm afraid you have the advantage.
It doesn't matter. I was, shall we say, a business associate of this widow's lady's husband.
Okay, don't tell me. Let me guess. You began in Indochina. You served 3 years in a penal colony in Brazil. They used to call you the doctor, am I right?
I have a doctor's degree.
Dr. Bessie, that's your name?
What a detective you would make, Mr.
I have a good memory, Dr. Bessie, and I'm a professional collector of information. You will find the heroin in the piano.
In the piano?
Yeah.
This is probably a trick, Mr. Lime. Suppose you go to the piano and extract the heroin yourself.
Don't be silly, old man. It would be very simple for me to extract a revolver from the piano, and I think it would be unpleasant for both of us if there was any shooting. There must be police in the neighborhood. I'd much prefer you to find your dope and leave quietly. I'm a peace-loving man.
Very well. I'll look for myself. I'm keeping my eye on you, Lime. Now then. Wait a minute. There is nothing here. What have you...
Put up your hands, Bessie. I'm warning you. I'll shoot if you don't.
What you did?
Well, very quick, I must say. Congratulations. Strange. He said he was a good shot. Must have been boasting.
He should have kept his eyes on both of us, and nobody could do that. Is he dead?
I wouldn't know, Mrs. Magetti. I haven't asked him. He looks that way. Have you any plans?
Yes, we better get out of here.
Isn't that funny? That's just what I was going to suggest.
And now it's time for the walkthrough. So here we have Harry Lime and Patsy, her fake name, but Ms. Magetti, talking to each other in her big mansion on the hill overlooking Tangier. And in the mansion she has some heroin. It was left by her husband, who is now dead, and she's the one who admits she murdered him. She killed him. She says she had good reasons, so she's saying it was self-defense. And that was all in last week's lesson, so we're coming up to today's. They're looking at the heroin. She wants Harry to help her get rid of it. She doesn't know who the agents are, so she's hoping Harry has more connections. And he says, what about the police? She says they don't know anything about it. They don't know the heroin's here. They don't even know about the house. So my husband didn't have any problems in Tangier. Yes, he was a gangster. He had problems in other cities around the world, other countries, but not here in Tangier. Harry says, well, I know about you. You killed him, didn't you? How do the cops feel about that? Or how do the police feel about that? She says they don't suspect me. They don't think I did anything illegal. They don't have any evidence to prove that. And besides, I had a good alibi. I had a story about where I was at the time that his murder happened. And it proved I wasn't there in the house with him when he got killed. So this is her alibi, Tada Budzai Chang Jungming. Harry says, you must tell me how you did that sometime. As a criminal, he was curious and wanted to know, how do you kill somebody and have an alibi that proves you weren't there? She says, so you can blackmail me? No thanks, Harry. You want me to tell you that so that you can use it against me? That's my secret. And if you know my secret, you could have me paying money to you for the rest of my life to keep quiet. So no, I'm not going to tell you. I'm not going to let you blackmail me. Blackmail or luswo. And then they hear somebody walking in to the house. They hear his footsteps. And he starts talking to them. She asks him, "Who are you?" And he says, "Oh, I'm an associate of your husband." An associate. So we worked together. We did some business together. I knew your husband. And he also tells her that he has a very efficient gun. This gun can kill very easily, very efficiently. It can get those desired results without wasting any time. So it's efficient. When it hits you, it's going to be fatal. It's going to kill you. And he says, "I'm a good marksman. I hit my target every time." So he says, 我是神枪手. She asks, "How did you get in?" He goes, "Oh, it's so banal. It's so boring and ordinary. I came in through the door. You didn't lock it. You left the door open. I walked in. This is a boring detail, 很无聊的." The gangster goes on to ask, "Where's the heroin? Where are the drugs?" Harry Lime interrupts, "Just a minute." And the gangster calls him by name. "Yes, Mr. Lime?" He says, "Hey, you know my name, but I'm afraid you have the advantage. In other words, you know my name, but I don't know your name." So he says, "My name doesn't matter. I'm just a business associate of this widow lady's husband." So she's a widow now because her husband is dead, but I was a business associate. I knew that man. He says, "Okay, don't tell me. Let me guess." Now, Harry has a lot of connections with gangsters and people who deal in illegal business. So he thinks, "I know who you are." He says, "You began in Indochina. You were way over there in Asia, and you served 3 years in a penal colony in Brazil, so South America. You got caught, you went to prison, and they put you to work. You had to do hard labor in a penal colony, Laogaying, in Brazil. They used to call you the doctor. Am I right?" Well, he doesn't admit that he's right, but he says, "Well, I have a doctor's degree, so they might have called me that. I went to school, I got a PhD," he says. "I have my 博士学位. Dr. Bessie, that's your name." The gangster says, "What a detective you would make. Wow, you're good." So he is admitting that he is Dr. Bessie. Harry says, "I have a good memory, Dr. Bessie, and I'm a professional collector of information. I have a good memory. I'm able to remember things that I've learned, and I collect information. That's my job." He says, "You'll find the heroin in the piano." Well, the gangster, Miss Dr. Bessie, wants Harry Lime to take the heroin out of the piano and give it to him. He says, "You go over to the piano and extract the heroin. You go over there and pull it out of the piano." And Harry points out that that's not very good thinking. He says, "I could go over there and instead of extracting, or chochu, bachu, instead of pulling out the heroin, I could pull out a gun. I could pull out a revolver, turn on you, and shoot you. Now, I'd really prefer that you just go over there yourself, take out the heroin, and be on your way. I'm a peace-loving man. I don't want to fight. I don't want to shoot. Just take it and go." So the gangster agrees. "Very well, I look for myself." "I'm keeping an eye on you, Lime," he says. So while he's reaching in the piano, he's looking over at Harry Lime. Well, Patsy comes back in on the scene and she says, "Put up your hands, Bessie. I'm warning you, I'll shoot if you don't." And she does. She immediately shoots him, and she shoots him dead. Harry says, "Congratulations," to her. And he says, "Strange, he said he was a good shot. Why didn't he shoot you first?" He must have been boasting. So he said that he was really good at something, but he really wasn't. So he's boasting. To boast is quaco or chueño. And Patsy says, well, he should have been looking at both of us. You know, here's a man thinking that this man is his adversary, this man is his enemy, and he forgets all about the woman and doesn't realize who he's dealing with. He should have kept his eyes on both of us, and nobody could do that. Is he dead? Harry says, well, I haven't asked him, but he looks dead. Have you any plans, or do you have any plans? She says, yes, we'd better get out of here. We have to run. I've just murdered a man. Let's go. Harry says, now isn't that funny? That's just what I was going to suggest. Well, that's the end of this section, so let's listen again to Act 2, Scene 4.
How do you know it's so valuable?
He told me. I've been keeping it here in the house for months now. This airline job I have is perfect for smuggling the stuff, but I don't know who to take it to. I don't know what towns pay the best price. I don't know the names of the agents. Rico kept me away from that kind of thing. All I can remember was hearing him talk about you. You've got to help me, Harry.
What about the police?
They don't know it's here. I don't think they even know about the house. At least there isn't anything against him in Tangier.
I mean about you, Lobo. You killed him, didn't you? How do the cops feel about that?
They don't suspect me. There's no reason why they should. I had a good alibi. I wasn't even in town.
Just tell me how you did that sometime.
So you can blackmail me? No, thanks, Harry. Let's keep our relationship on a nice, clean business level.
Now, that's the way I like to hear you talk.
Who are you?
To talk about that later, Madame Magetti. Now, I think it would be easier all round if you and Mr. Lime put your hands in the air. Not too high. Just shoulder level, huh? Right. This is a very efficient gun I'm holding. I have a good mouth.
How did you get in?
I hate to tell you, Madame Magetti, the explanation is so banal. Through the door. You left it open. Now then, where's the heroin?
Just a minute.
Yes, Mr. Lime?
You seem to know my name, monsieur, but I'm afraid you have the advantage.
It doesn't matter. I was, shall we say, a business associate of this widow's lady's husband.
Okay, don't tell me. Let me guess. You began in Indochina. You served 3 years in a penal colony, Brazil. They used to call you the doctor, am I right?
I have a doctor's degree.
Dr. Bessie, that's your name?
What a detective you would make, Mr.
I have a good memory, Dr. Bessie, and I'm a professional collector of information. You'll find the heroin in the piano.
In the piano?
Yeah.
This is probably a trick, Mr. Lime. Suppose you go to the piano and extract the heroin yourself.
Don't be silly, old man. It would be very simple for me to extract a revolver from the piano, and I think it would be unpleasant for both of us if there was any shooting. There must be police in the neighborhood. I'd much prefer you to find your dope and leave quietly. I'm a peace-loving man.
Very well. I'll look for myself. I'm keeping my eye on you, Lime. Now then. Wait a minute. There is nothing here. What have you...
Put up your hands, Bessie. I'm warning you. I'll shoot if you don't.
What you did?
Well, very quick, I must say. Congratulations. Strange. He said he was a good shot. Must have been boasting.
He should have kept his eyes on both of us, and nobody could do that. Is he dead?
I wouldn't know, Mrs. Magetti. I haven't asked him. He looks that way. Have you any plans?
Yes, we better get out of here.
Now, isn't that funny? That's just what I was going to suggest.
Let's talk. Harry doesn't want to get involved in the drug trade, but now he's associated with people who are, and he's an accomplice in a murder. If you were in Harry's shoes, what would your next move be? Tell us all about it in a comment below the show notes at www.englishmomentum.com/DL094. You need to be logged in to comment on blog posts. Or you can also leave a comment on my Facebook page at facebook.com/English Momentum. Remember, the English-Chinese flashcards and games are available on Quizlet at englishmomentum.com/Quizlet. And for anyone who wants to review the vocabulary and read the radio play transcript, the bonus PDF is now at www.englishmomentum.com. Log in to English Momentum, go to this episode, DL094, and you'll be able to download the bonus PDF. You could also be listening to dramatic listening on Stitcher. Stitcher is radio on demand. You'll find a link to Stitcher in my show notes at www.englishmomentum.com. Well, folks, that's it for this episode. Thanks for joining me again this week. If you're enjoying this story, please share it with a friend. See you again in 2 weeks when we wrap up this story. Bye for now.